You think raising your voice helps your child listen, but what they actually learn is how to feel unsafe around you. In this video, you'll see exactly what their brain is doing in that exact moment. You're standing by the door, shoes in your hand. Your child is still sitting on the floor, not moving. You say it once, then louder. You already know deep down this isn't the way, but you need them to move now. And the moment your voice changes, something else changes first. Not their behavior. It's what their brain switches into before they even understand a single word. And once you see what happens next, you won't hear their silence the same way again. You don't think you're yelling. In your mind, you're just speaking up to be heard. Picture this morning, while you were getting your child dressed. They just stood there, staring off, completely unresponsive. You asked nicely once, then twice, and then the volume started to climb. Right then. You see, a child's brain isn't processing your words anymore. It's scanning for danger in your tone. When the volume goes up, they don't learn to cooperate. They learn to survive a threat. Do you realize you're accidentally linking their small mistakes to a sense of fear? The problem doesn't start when you scream, and what happens next actually has nothing to do with your child's behavior. When you snap and say, "Just listen to me," your child suddenly goes quiet. You look at that silence and think, finally, they get it. But that silence isn't understanding. It's a survival response. The moment your voice shifts, their amygdala flips a switch. Instantly, the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logic, completely shuts down. No learning happens here. At this point, the brain is physically incapable of processing your words. You think you're teaching? In reality, you're just triggering a survival reflex. When that silence hits, there is no lasting change. There is only a brain in freeze mode. And when this happens repeatedly, the brain remembers. You tell yourself you only yell when it's necessary. But a child's brain doesn't distinguish between sometimes and often. It only records the pattern. When every morning ends with a raised voice just to get dressed or eat, a shortcut is built. Mistake equals danger. The brain doesn't argue. Over time, a loud voice becomes the signal of an unpredictable authority. You aren't building discipline. In reality, you are building an expectation of fear. As a result, the child starts fearing the stakes more than they want to learn, and their natural curiosity slowly fades away. And this begins to change how they see themselves. You tell yourself you just want them to learn when you ask, "Why do you always act like this?" The child stays quiet, looking down without a single word. But here's the truth. Your child isn't listening to your words. They are recording how they feel about themselves in that moment. At this age, a child cannot separate their behavior from their identity. Instead of thinking, "I did something wrong," they start to believe, "I am wrong." They hold on to it. Each repeated shout builds a core belief, turning a small mistake into deep-seated insecurity. You aren't just correcting a behavior. In reality, you are rewriting how your child sees themselves. Is that the identity you want them to carry forever? And this doesn't stop in childhood. You tell yourself you don't yell enough for it to truly matter. But the brain doesn't store memories the way you think. It stores feelings. Years later, all it takes is someone raising their voice for that child to flinch or shut down instantly. It's still there. The nervous system archives these emotional experiences so deeply that they become automatic reflexes. A trigger happens long before logic can intervene. Instead of thinking, the adult they become can only react from a place of old anxiety. What your child remembers isn't the words you said, but this is not where the story ends. Yelling doesn't end when the moment is over. It lives on in the way your child reacts to the world later in life. There are parents who choose to pause when emotions run high, and there are those who let their emotions lead the way. Remember, the voice your child hears today becomes the voice they live with tomorrow. Think about the last time your voice got louder. What do you think your child actually learned in that moment? If this made you pause, stay with this channel for more. Because long after they forget what you said, they will remember how it felt.